Every so often a video game comes along that takes all the best gameplay elements from a number of different genres, sticks them all in a mixing bowl and creates something truly special and remarkable. The popular games of yesteryear tended to be the platformers such as Super Mario Bros, Metroid, Zelda, and obviously as standalone titles they worked and still work extremely well to this day. Sega, however, decided to take some of these ideas and fashion them into an immersive adventure for the 8-bit Sega Master System and call it Wonder Boy 3: The Dragon's Trap. Now this third entry in the series starts with one hell of an impact as soon as you start the game. You see, this game has you replay the final section from Wonder Boy 2, where Wonder Boy is all powered up. You are inside the dreaded dragon's castle in Monsterland and essentially you kill the final boss right away. Again, this might seem daunting, but there's no way you can lose as you have maximum health and the best weaponry you can find at your disposal. Once you beat the dragon, then this is where the twist takes place. With its dying breath, the dragon places a curse on Wonder Boy and turns him into a hideous lizard man. With the castle now resembling something out of Tomb Raider with falling debris from the ceiling, our hero has no choice but to escape. Now unable to regain his human form, he quickly learns that the only item that can lift this terrible affliction is the legendary Salamander cross. Just as in Super Metroid on the Snes, you lose all the weapons and health upgrades you previously had and you have to start again in Monsterland and slowly work your way through a huge open world to try and build it all up again. Wonder Boy 3 is a 2D action RPG platform Metroidvania puzzle game. Try saying that 5 times fast. Where you are not told where to go or what to do. You have to try a few different routes and try and work out where to go first. Now this can be a bit difficult as some routes are almost impossible until you have the right weapons and a decent amount of health. Your options are pretty limited at the start of the game and it's really all about trial and error. Once you find your feet, however, you can start destroying enemies, earning gold to buy weapons and armour from many of the game's shops, and also trying to level up by finding hearts and other treasures hidden around Monsterland. Once you find and defeat a dragon boss, then a blue flame engulfs Wonder Boy and he will change into another form. Now each form has a different skill set that must be utilised to progress further in the game. For example, Lizard Man can breathe fire and will not take damage from lava. Mouse Man can cling to certain blocks which lead to areas impossible to get to as Lizard Man. Lion Man can swipe his sword a little bit more efficiently and can jump a bit higher. Piranha Man can swim and Bird Man can fly. As you get further through the game, you will find transformer rooms where you will need to change back and forth throughout each form to again access new areas. So that's kind of where the puzzle element comes into play. As I mentioned, you will need to earn gold to visit many shops on your quests. Some are in plain sight whilst others are hidden. The game is clever at not overwhelming the player when it comes to buying new weapons and equipment. Certain shops won't sell you anything, stating they have sold out until you have leveled up your health to the required level, which I really respect. It helps stop any confusion and just makes those weapons worth waiting for. Other shops, however, will restore health, sell health medicine, which can be risky and I'll explain why later. It's also super easy to grind for gold and never feels like a chore as each enemy drops a random amount of gold at different times. Even if you say you go the wrong way at the beginning, it doesn't have to be a wasted experience as you can get loads of dosh and should you die, you always respawn at the beginning in the first little town where you keep your gold. Even better, this game works on a password system. Now you get a password from this guy here, again right at the beginning. Now you need to make sure that every time you make some progress in this game that you go into this door and retrieve the password, because I believe it's the only place you can actually get it from. And be sure to write it down as it can be easy to forget to do so, or even write it down wrong, which I did on many occasions. This game also allows Wonder Boy to pick up secondary weapons such as fireballs and arrows, which will make navigating some areas a lot easier. As you progress, the enemy patterns become a lot more erratic and you need to know when to back off and when to advance. Going in all guns blazing will just lead to frustration, so you really need to get into the habit of starting to take your time and utilising the sub-weapons. The best part is that, like gold, they are very easy to retain and again can be found in chests or earned from defeating monsters. Wonder Boy 3 is extremely rewarding once you get into the swing of things. There's just so much hidden stuff that there's probably still items and secrets I have not found. I've said in most of my reviews that my one pet peeve with some platformer style games is the respawning enemies. Radical Rescue for the Game Boy was the most annoying, where you kill an enemy, move a fraction away and then the enemy just comes right back. In Wonder Boy 3 the enemies only return when you exit the area and go into another one, so this allows you time to work out what you are doing. Now some may complain that the enemy patterns early on are really unfair. Now I agree, but not for the reasons you might think. As I said, if you're on an area that's chock full of tough enemies and you just can't progress, no matter what you do, then chances are you're not meant to be there yet, and you might need to get a little bit stronger. Once you realise this and you have the necessary upgrades, the tough areas then become a cakewalk. Now that's not to say this game can't be challenging. I found the Samurai Dragon's domain to be really difficult and overwhelming due to some of the ninjas and their crazy attack patterns. So you can't just breeze through this game as you would say Super Mario. Wonder Boy 3 makes you earn your rewards and makes you work hard at figuring out how to bypass certain enemies and bosses. I will say that there are a couple of things about this game that I really don't understand. I mentioned earlier about how buying medicines can be risky. Why, you ask? Well, in games like Zelda or Metroid, when you have medicine or an energy tank, it fills up your health immediately when you die, essentially giving you an extra life bar. In Wonder Boy 3, you can get medicines either from destroying enemies or buying it from a shop at the end of the jungle. Now the thing is, when you lose all of your health, the medicine you have is random, so sometimes it will fill up your health fully, or sometimes it will only restore 1 heart. So you could have, say, 3 jars of medicine and each one might have random effects on your health. Now this isn't so much of a problem if you get the medicine for free, but there's a medicine shop at the end of the jungle that charges 900 or so gold pieces for each medicine and again fills up your health in the same fashion. Now I don't mind again finding it, but when I need extra medicine to aid me in a particularly tough dungeon or boss fight, why make me waste my money if I'm only going to get a smidgen of health back? Whilst it's not a game breaker, it is a bit ridiculous. If I pay over the odds for medicine, I want consistency. If I die, then just fill up my hearts fully. I mean, why does it have to be a game of chance? One other issue I have is when Wonder Boy takes damage. He kind of does Simon Belmont's knockback effect and takes it to a new level. Now check this out, I run into an enemy and Wonder Boy freezes and then is bounced around the screen like a pinball. Sometimes it's really hard to get away, and it was this that got me killed off time and time again, particularly in the beginning. Now I didn't mind it so much with the dragon bosses, to be honest, because, well, they're bosses, and I liked the idea that you had to hit them in a very precise way to defeat them. So when I missed hitting the dragons, yes, I was bounced around again, but for all the right reasons, and that I needed to watch the boss patterns and work them out to avoid their attacks. It's just that with the normal enemies, bouncing around can be a bit more frustrating because they kind of overwhelm you. You get hit by one and then another might hit you, and then that first enemy might hit you again, so you kind of really need to push those buttons and get Wonder Boy out of the situation as quickly as you can. One thing this game does so well is that there are so many occasions where you can go off the beaten path, high in the clouds, or even to the bottom of the ocean and find rewards and alternate routes. It feels like a real achievement, especially when you have the right form to help you get there. As I mentioned, there are tons of secret shops, treasures and items to find all over Monsterland, so you'll have a lot of fun exploring. The controls are really rather good. Wonder Boy can jump, attack and use his special abilities and weapons. Now the control style Wonder Boy has does alter slightly when he changes forms. For example, Lizard Man is slow and lumbering and can't jump very high, Mouse Man is quicker and it can be hard to hold him after a jump, Lion Man can do a running jump and is a bit more balanced, Piranha Man can swim, etc. So you will need to get used to each character and the way that they move. The graphics themselves are huge, bright and colourful and very rich with detail. I like the look of the enemies, and some of my favourites were the deadly clouds with sunglasses on and the Cyclops monsters trying to catch Wonder Boy out as he tried to brave the many lava pits and traps to get to the right. I really feel like I'm playing out the plot of an old Saturday morning cartoon. Sometimes when there are too many sprites on screen the game will flicker a little bit, but that's to be expected with a game that pushes the hardware a little more. Wonder Boy 3 has this humorous look and can come across as deceptively laid back. It kind of reminds me of Alex Kidd, to be honest. However, this game shines bright with the animations and variations in each form Wonder Boy has. They all run smoothly with no issues of slowdown, which I kind of expected with the amount of stuff Sega have packed into this game. Overall, Wonder Boy 3 is a must play if you have a Sega Master System. It's not just your average title. As I said, you get this open world Metroid style platform adventure game that won't take you very long to complete, but you will want to replay it over and over again because of the hidden secrets. Putting the medicine issue aside, I do feel that the developers want you to succeed, as this game is surprisingly generous with large hearts to restore your health in some of the toughest areas. It can be really hard again to get to grips with Wonder Boy at first, especially if you are used to standard platform games. I do however implore you to really give it a go. It might take you a few hours, but I'm sure you will soon get into it and you really will start to enjoy it. It's not as demanding as Metroid and really does reward perseverance, so play it any way that you can. Okay, I just want to say thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time for another retro review.